Welcome to the Positively You podcast. I'm your host, Jessie Larson, and I'm passionate about helping you shift the way you think so you can create a life you're absolutely obsessed with. Each week, I'll be bringing you a guest or a thought that's going to help you feel more optimistic and equipped to take real action. Get ready to push past limiting beliefs, ditch that negativity, and start showing up as the best and most positive version of you. Girl, let's do this. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Positively You podcast. I'm Jessie, your host, and as always, I'm so incredibly thrilled to have you here. Now, this is going to be a very quick episode this week. I don't know if you can tell. Hi, we all know that my voice has had struggles over the last year. It's been something that we're working on. This is not related. This is totally one of those, like, I've been hacking up my lung at night coughing. Anyone ever had those attacks? They're so fun. So running on minimal sleep. It's currently fall break for my children, which they have a full 6 days off of school for fall break. So they got out, the end of the day last Friday. They were done. They're home this whole week. And then next Monday is like a teacher prep day too for the end of the term. So I literally have my kids home for fall break for like 11 days. Something ridiculous like that. It's almost like a Christmas break. So we've got a lot going on here. But the most important thing is obviously this podcast and me showing up here for you. But like all jokes aside, I love showing up here every single week and hanging out with you. And, crazy schedules and up all night and voice going away because of, whatever. Actually, I'll tell you what it is. I have my drink, my water that I always have, and my little kids think that it is just like a free for all for them. They always have this water bottle. So, if one of them gets sick and they drink my water, then I get sick. So that's where we are with this. All right, now that we've got that crazy little side tangent out of the way, let's jump into what I actually wanted to talk about today. And that is the idea of, okay, I had like a good title idea for this. The idea of going alone, showing up somewhere alone. So in the last 2 weeks, I have done a lot of networking and events and going to things, which I hadn't done in the last couple of months. And then there was a whole bunch of things that happened kind of all at once. And it was a lot of fun and it gave me a lot of insight and just kind of reflection on the things that I was looking back into. And I never regret going to these type of events and to go network with other people or meet new people or try something new. So some of them were networking events where I was with business people and, sharing what their business was, what my business was, collaborating with other people. And a couple of the other things I did were just new experiences. I went to a breathwork class and a sound bath. And I'd been to sound baths before, but this one was really new to me. Breathwork I'd never done before. I stepped really out of, my comfort zone and went to do something new. And the other thing I went and did was to try not a dirty dancing because it's not that, but just like a fun, sexy, flirty kind of dance class. It's called Dirtylicious. And I went and did a workshop there. And some of these things I went with a friend. And some of these things I went alone. And I think there is so much power in showing up somewhere alone. And it is terrifying to show up somewhere alone. How many times have you looked at something online or seen something or had an invitation or even just something like you didn't personally have to be invited, but like you could sign up to go somewhere and you hesitated or you didn't go because you were like, I don't have anyone to go with. I don't want to show up alone. Like that would be super weird. And we get all in our head about it, right? And like, I even do the same thing. I've shared before that so many times I go to these places. It's like when I sign up for things, I have like the extroverted side of me that's like, yeah, sign up for the thing. And then when it's time for the thing, I get super nervous. And like, I really do. I sit in my car and I have to like pump myself up and be like, go inside. It's going to be awesome. You can talk to people. Like, don't stand in the corner. And I really do have to pump myself up for that. But every time I do, it's worth it because of either a message that I get or just like a person that I meet that says something that I really needed to hear, or I'm able to connect with someone like that, or it just fills my cup and pours into me and it's just exactly what I needed. So this idea of going somewhere alone, to put on like that brave part of you, even if you are like totally faking it, like you're like, I'm going to go in there and smile and say hello, but I'm like shaking in my boots, right? Because guess what? So many other people that are there are also nervous to be there. They're also nervous to try something new. But it's in trying these new things that your world begins to expand a little bit. And you also get to be so proud of yourself. I've left places like that being like, wow, I went and did that. I went alone and I was really super nervous. So try going somewhere alone. Try doing something new alone. Now, if that feels a little too scary and you're like, I don't know if I can do that, my next thing is go with a friend. Okay, so I go with friends all the time. You guys know my friend Camille. She is the host over at Call Me CEO podcast. And we do a lot together. We run in the same circles. So a lot of the networking events that we're going to, like, we'll both be there. So it makes sense to carpool or to drive, right? With other things. But I've noticed there was one event in particular, we drove together, we got there, and then we kind of split up and went our separate ways. And then at the end of the event, when we were driving back home, we like debriefed each other, right? Like, all right, how was it for you? How was it for you? What did you learn? Who did you meet? And so that was an interesting way to do it too, because we didn't go alone per se. We went with someone. We still had that like, not crutch, but like little support person with us, right? She doesn't need it. She's like a social butterfly and it's fine. But for the sake of an example, right? Like if you're like, listen, I can't show up alone, but maybe I could take like this, like modify this step a little bit and take someone with me, but not stick with them the whole time. Branch out a little bit and meet other people and kind of go separate ways. I thought that was a really, and we like didn't talk about this beforehand. This is totally like a looking back on kind of realization for me, is that that's what we did. But we didn't go into the event being like, hey, we're not going to talk to each other here, right? But it was kind of cool to look back and be like, oh, we can go somewhere, like I can take someone with me somewhere and then split off. So you get that benefit of not showing up alone, which sometimes walking in and just showing up to something new is the scariest part. So that's a great way to like do it alone, but like with somebody, right? So you like still have a safe person there that you feel comfortable with, but you're also experiencing something new and being brave and trying to do that alone. And then even if that feels too scary, like it's totally fine to invite friends and to go. But I think it is such a cool experience, especially like it's been kind of interesting as like an adult, because as kids, we are always meeting new people, right? We're always getting like a new class in elementary school, or heck, all the way up through high school, right? Like we're always changing. We've got sports we're trying out. We're going to new places. Like we just do that so much more as we're growing up. And as we're adults, we get just really kind of comfortable where we're at, and we're out of the practice of kind of like meeting people and having to navigate that. Especially if like my boat, right? I was a stay-at-home mom for a number of years, and it was like, hi, I only talk to toddlers and I only know things about like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and Blippi, right? Except Blippi was not in my realm. I know that that's kind of the thing now, but my kids are older. And so it's just kind of a really cool way to push yourself by going to something alone. If you're on social media, if you're on the internet, there's always things going on. There's always events. There are classes you can go try. There are so many different like self-care things to do, right? I'm always hearing about like seminars or just something where there's speakers, or trying a new class like this breathwork thing. I was like, oh, that sounds super cool. And it was from a friend that I only knew through like Instagram. And I was like, I want to go, but like, that's weird. Is it weird, or am I just in my head, right? Like we tell ourselves these stories. And you will leave every single time not only getting something from the experience itself, but from doing that for you, from putting yourself out there and going alone. It does something to your confidence, and it does something to like empower you. And those are the best kind of feelings to have for yourself, right? And the more that you put yourself out there, the less scary it gets, or so they say in theory, because I still get nervous sometimes going places by myself. But it's like a muscle that like you're developing. And the more that you do it, the stronger that muscle gets, and the more confident you are in yourself for doing that. So that is my challenge. I'm always issuing little like challenges on here today, but just something to think about. Like, when was the last time I went somewhere new, or I tried something brand new? When was the last time I went alone and I didn't like need somebody with me? And just kind of ask yourself that and sit with that. And then the next time like an opportunity presents itself to you, you're going to be more aware of like whether or not you immediately push that away, or if you're like, oh, if only I had someone to go with, or wow, that makes me super nervous to go by myself. Now you've got this like thought process that you can kind of walk yourself through. And I would encourage you to push past what's uncomfortable and show up alone. Because you might show up alone, but you won't be leaving alone, especially if that's your intent. And your intention when you get there is to be like, listen, I'm here to connect and to grow and to learn something new, whatever like the thing is that you're going. If your intention is good and you're going in clear on what it is that you want to get out of it, you will get that out of it. So that is the thought that I'm sharing with you this week. I thank you so much for tuning in and for being here. So we've had a couple different interviews. I'm going to be popping in with some solo shows here, and I've got some really, really good interviews coming up really soon that I'm super excited to share with you. So as always, thank you so much for being a part of this positive community and for listening to the Positively You podcast. If you liked this episode, if you like a clip from this episode or any past one that you want to share, I would absolutely love that. And if you do, make sure you tag me so I can come and say thank you. And if you have not left a review, it is so easy to leave a review. Just kind of scroll down from where you're listening and you'll see the little stars on Apple, if that's where you're at. And you can click the stars and hit write a review, type something up super, super quick. And I think Apple is the only one where you can actually like write something out. Every other place that you listen, whether it's Spotify or Google or Audible or Amazon or iHeartRadio or blah, 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 who knows, wherever it is you're listening from, there, I think you can just rate on there. So however you want to share the love and spread some positivity and some joy out today, do that. So whether that's not paying it back, but putting that positive energy here towards this podcast, or if it is taking it out and sprinkling it amongst the people you're interacting with today. I hope you do both, because that would be awesome. But thank you again for being here. I hope you have an amazing day, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for hanging out with me again today. I'm so glad you pressed play. If you want to take a quick second to share this episode with someone you think would love it too, that would be amazing. If you're loving the show, make sure you go and leave a review on iTunes. Reviews are like magic for podcasts, and your review will help get this show into the ears of more amazing women just like you. And come find me over on Instagram. I'm there at positively.jessie, and I cannot wait to hang out with you some more. So until next time, have an amazing week.